I think we'll get sound back now. Thank you for letting me know. That's what I want. Where did I put that roll? Sound should be up now. I think everybody complaining is just delayed. Fixed? Yes. Very good. Okay, there seems to be about a 20-second delay between what I do here and what shows up on chat. It's hard work for the computers doing the flat earth conversion. Okay. Good morning from the States. What time is it there in the States? On the eastern side, I presume, because I can imagine the western side must still be quite asleep. That's itchy nose, of course. Naturally, I've got an itchy nose. Okay. Do a flip, not happening. Yes, Paul freaking Daniels. 6:30 in the morning. Let's see, what was that $100 thing? Fixed $100 USD. Oh shoot, Lewis is here. Lewis, go back to sleep. Alrighty, let's switch over to something more interesting. Let's see, overhead only, that's better. Okay, we have got this MacBook board with a great big hole in it. We're not going to fix that. Instead, we're going to fix this one, which blew its SMC, and lo and behold, I didn't have any 3437 SMCs. Finally, I've got them here. So we're just going to do the thing that Lewis loves to hate doing, and that is SMCs. I'm a little out of sorts here. He's going to badmouth Flexboard View this end. Yeah, I'm sure Lewis will do it. Lunchtime in Amsterdam? That's good. Ah, look at that. The automatic scene switcher kicks in. Imagine if Lewis had such technology. Alright, so we're just taking this SMC off the board. We'll reball it and put it down on the new one. Hey Jaffle Jam, whereabouts in Queensland are you? Wow, that's some seriously weak sauce coming out of that. Audio is definitely fixed. If you still can't hear it, then try Alt F4. Oh, that's so immature, Paul, so immature. Nobody does the Alt F4 joke anymore. Now, unlike Lewis, I do not have an amazing multitasking, multi-eye, multi-vision capability, so if you are chatting in chat and I'm not responding, then what can I say? Tough luck. Come on, off you get. Right. What is F2B? Pernov, what are you talking about in front of my face? What is F2B? How come you're only streaming on this YouTube channel? I don't know. Ask Lewis. He's set up the restreamer. Okay, now I don't know about others, but I find that with these SMCs, they got a bit of a tendency to popcorn occasionally, so I'm guessing that my technique is not good enough. And I'm just cooking the poor bastard things. Ah. I don't get a lot of them that are popcorning, maybe 1 out of 10. But it's enough to be a nuisance. Let's see. Hello, Dodge Caliber. Let's see. Nozzle doesn't bend. I don't like bendy nozzles. I have bought a bendy nosy. Bendy nosy. What the hell? That's what we're going to call them now. Bendy nozzies. I've tried a bent nozzle. I do not like them. I find that the air cools down too much going around the corner. And so you end up having to put your hot air up at a much higher temperature just to compensate. Yeah, now one of these is usually a pretty good fit. Not you, not you. How about you? There we go. We've got a fit. Armadale. I don't even know where Armadale is. Just trying to get that silicon stuff off there, as I find it interferes with things. Why is DOS Dude gonna make Lewis's? Yeah, Lewis, what are you doing watching streams anyway? You should be enjoying a holiday, not panicking about what horrors the Flat Earth Australian's gonna do. I mean, it's not like I'm going to bring a kangaroo in here and start having a bit of a biffo with it. Yeah, bendy nosy does sound like a proper Australian term, as perhaps a tribute to mosquitoes or something. Oh, Sonia's in here. Hello, Sonia. Hey, Big DH. And Zero Effect is in here too. I'm sort of catching up a little bit on the chat. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Okay. Yeah, it's just Paul Daniels and his effing software, mate. Let's get that fume extractor going. Yeah, that's it. Does the job nicely. Doesn't seem to want to be taking to that one pad, so we'll just coerce it to take onto that pad slightly. One loud fume extractor. I don't think the fume extractor is any louder than what Lewis's might be, but I just don't have any audio filters. If you're lucky, I'll turn on the ultrasonic later and you can all revel in that sort of delicious noise. For those wondering what we're working on, we have a 820-3437, and I've just run out of my wick. This is the last of my wick. Fortunately, the rest should arrive tomorrow. I actually repaired this 3437 last week, but I needed a replacement SMC, and I really hope that I don't mess this one up. I'm trying to find my soft closing tweezers, and I found them. There we go. And do our beloved hot air wicking. Oh, that flux isn't sticking around. Okay. Thank you, Sonia. Who's talking about the Brisbane Broncos? What is this, a football channel? And I see we have Ye Old Game Steve, who knows the original Paul Daniels magician, using some of his bylines. The reason why I cleaned this out is because what often can happen when I'm reballing these SMCs is the flux actually gets down in here and then it starts to boil up, creeps under the stencil, and then ruins the job. I mean, it's already bad enough that there's flux on the back of that. I am going to have to fix that pad up. If I don't fix this pad up, it will just simply reject the ball. Okay, that should do it. Right, we need our SMC stencil. AQs. Just gotta find my SMC stencil. Just blow that out a bit. Try not burn my fingers. Always has to be one annoying piece of crud in there. Okay. I'm going to be doing things a little differently from usual. Most of you will probably be aware that in the past I would use dry paste and I would use, what would I use? A bit of a spudger for it. But I don't have any of my proper paste. And I'm just trying out new things, which means it's probably going to end in failure. Get some of that delicious toothpaste off. And the reason why I suspect this isn't going to quite work out how I want is because I need too much area to spread out on this. Yeah, this is going to be a dodgy job. Dodgy brothers are going to love this one. Just need to get another piece of towel. No, that's not going to work. Well, I don't know how that's going to work out. Let's give it a shot. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'll just end up being like Lewis. Just going to do a bit of a slow cook off. Get that flux out of there. Alright, now it's getting close. No, I effed it. Look at that. There you go, Lewis. Messed up an SMC for you. Get out of here. Let's put this straight back into the... Alright, guess I'll be drying the paste out in this. Yeah, it doesn't look good. That's one way to call it. Complete and utter botch job. I don't think I've ever done an SMC as bad as this, so I really must be channeling Lewis tonight. He must be here in spirit with me. Good enough. Under normal circumstances, I don't sort of run into this issue. I'm sure plenty of you have seen the other videos I've done. There's Lewis talking. It's not my normal paste, as I said. This one has a much finer grain, which is actually much better, but it's almost too good for me. I'll just try again and hopefully I'll do it right this time. No, I don't do the captain tape holding the stencil down thing. Pretty much never do that. I'll go back to using the previous technique but with this paste. Putting down captain tape to me is just a big fat waste of time. I mean, yeah, if people want to do it, that's great. That's a choice, but personally I've never found it to be all that useful. So let's scrub this out. You got to realise that 9 times out of 10 the SMC process that I just went through works perfectly fine. And 9 times out of 10 the captain tape process ends up being more drama than it's worth. For me. You gotta always realise everything comes down to, well, a lot of it comes down to the personal preferences. Yeah, people want to use captain tape, go ahead, use your captain tape. If you're comfortable with it, that's great. But I prefer not to. I haven't found it to be advantageous. Did I have a mistake here? Absolutely. I've got new solder paste, new applicator. So 2 different things. Alright, and we're ready to go again. And just do it differently. What's a good MacBook to buy for my first one ever? 1502, 1466, depends what you want. This paste definitely is very good for iPhone parts, very fine pitch stuff, but I think I might have to go back to the coarse grade. Well, yeah, gee whiz. It's just... This is going to be a very slow, painful process. Sorry, everybody. There is just a huge amount of flux in that. Thank you, Juxtapose, for putting that up. Yeah, this is going to be slow and painful. That's, yeah, just very wet paste. So I figure we should be here for the next, oh, I don't know, 15 minutes. That should do it. So the trouble is what's happening right now is that paste is wicking between what a bloody disaster. Oops, I swore. That's it. Demonetized. Is this even working? You can already see one ball there is going to have to be redone if nothing else. Now this is... I'm redoing this. I know it hasn't even done, but I figure I'll save myself the drama. See how it's already... And I'm gonna use the paste that I normally do. I'll scrape it out of the bowl, maybe see if I can find something, some good bits of it. I only need one working chunk of it. But it's fairly typical. You do this on a daily basis and you go to do it on a stream and it just goes all wrong. More flux. Matthew, yeah, well, there are a lot of things in the Bible. I know you guys can't see much on stream. This is more the boredom stream. Hey Travesty, doing well? Yes, cattle farts are a very real issue. So if you can all just have one steak less a week, save the world. Okay, the stencil's cleaned up. You can see the flux on that. It needs to come off. Now, Lewis, I'm redoing it because I was foolish and decided to let me do something on stream when I've got a whole new bunch of variables involved compared to my normal routine. Because, you know, that's the right way to do this. Don't show everybody what you normally do every day with no trouble. No, that's not acceptable. You gotta go crazy and change it up. Let's see if I can find some squishy paste in here. So that's more what you're looking for. Something, even that's a bit wet. So we'll try and bring the content down on that. I feel like some sort of drug addict here, and this is me just, you know, preparing my hit. Oh no, man, I dropped my hit. It does look like it's got that strange snot substance in it. A couple of you might have seen the video the other day where I was trying to do a chip. Trying to think what it was. That was the audio IC for the iPhone 7, and it just had this gel-like substance in it. Anyway, that's the same container. So I'm really not sure what has gotten into it, but it's certainly made a mess of things. You can see the grain structure in this one is substantially finer. And the flux doesn't want to boil off. Need a bigger metal plate. Dum, 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 dum. Where can I find a big metal plate other than in my head? Yeah, normally I've got a box of metal plates and random things around the workshop. Yeah, not today. No. Oh great, the first two iPhone screens I pick up are perfectly good working ones. And I threw out all the dead ones. Of course I did. Come here, little metal plate. I know tissue is not a bad idea, yeah. So we're now doing crack solder on an iPhone 6 metal backplate. This is only doing it at 250 centigrade, so it shouldn't convert it. Nice to see $1 Zimbabwean. You know, it probably cost $1 million Zimbabwean just to send that $1 Zimbabwean. What is the Zimbabwean dollar situation these days? I mean, since Mugabe took a hike, is the Zimbabwean dollar actually worth the money, the plastic or paper it's printed on anymore? Okay, gather up our iPhone snoot. Remove offending particles. Now what I would really love to buy for this sort of purpose right now is a small desktop CNC milling machine. Is my stencil bent? It's slightly bent. Not badly, just slightly. Yes, anyway, I would like to buy a CNC milling machine so that I can create out of this fiber reinforced plastic substance proper holders for the SMC and the stencil. So you don't go through this drama of, great, guess who overcooked there? This is god awful. Someone let it dry out a little too much. Anyway, so yeah, if I get a desktop CNC system for milling, then I can create little holders for these sort of things. And you just plop down the two pieces, no tape, no messing around with dumb tweezers like right now. Just squeegee over the combination with your plastic blade with paste and you're done. And all this absolute bollocks trash that I'm going through right now would be non-required. Rhodesia. You're not allowed to say that anymore. But yes, it was the breadbasket of the country. The ANC is going to come and get you for saying that. .3D printers is not going to be any good for me, unfortunately. Who said that? John. Yeah, because I'm going to need to be able to, whatever I put in has to cope with the direct heat. So personally, I prefer a desktop CNC. I mean, they're only about $1,200 for a good one. Some of these look a little stuck, so I'm going to drop in some flux and then, yeah, give it a chance to loosen up. Kangaroo meat. Let's see if we're talking about that. Kangaroo meat is kind of like a bland ostrich meat. At least with ostrich meat, you've got that beautiful deep purple and hints of something interesting. This kangaroo meat is more like a dark beef, and like ostrich meat, though, it is pretty much without fat, so if you do want to make it tasty, it takes a heck of a lot of work. There we go. Finally got out. We lost a ball. If I was working at Lewis's shop right now, I'd be fired out of a cannon into the sun. Yeah, Lewis, I'm not stripping, okay? If you like, I can strip some nuts, but my car is still in the workshop. Yeah, here comes the fun bit. Getting that ball to stick without it jumping to its neighbour. There we go. There was a lot of drama for what it was, I'm ashamed to say. I'm pretty sure I got some mixed ball sizes, but we don't judge here. Yeah, those are looking tolerable. I do hate how we get all these little threads. Okay, there's a few little issues there, so I will flux it and reflow it. So shiny. Who's complaining about my balls? 10. So what have we got? 24 is complaining about my balls. Or really, I should say 24. Okay, and finally we come back down to what this is all for, and that's this little board here. I'm going to turn it around so that Lewis doesn't have an aneurysm. We just put a little bit of flux on here because we don't want this thing floating away as if some great tsunami grabbed it, dragging it off into the ocean. And that should be pretty well aligned. I can hit it with the hot air there. Yeah. Lewis getting a heart attack? Good. Lewis would know. Lewis doesn't understand proper flux etiquette. Okay, it's just got to be pushed off to the side a little and up. Alright. They should pull in okay. We're going to need proper MacBook temperatures. None of this puny iPhone stuff. Oh. Dance. Did anyone check to see if I got the dot in the right spot? I'm pretty sure it's there on this one. Yep, we got it in the right spot. Cool. Okey-dokey-doke. Yeah, I mean, I know the pins on the underside do make a nice little arrow, but sometimes you just forget to double check that. Okay. Who uses blimmin' thermal paste that has a brown gold color to it? What the heck? It's gold, bro. Must be better. Alright. Now, you see, if I was Lewis, at this point, I would probably just fire this up willy-nilly, trusting in the CPU not to spontaneously combust. Someone has bent that damn thing. By the way, people, if you're pulling apart these MacBook Airs, for the love of God, stop forgetting the screw that's down here, alright? The one that's down by the hinge connector, hidden under the Wi-Fi cables. Stop forgetting it. You get these people and they yank on it. Like, come on out, come on out. And then something horrible happens. Rossman, you're selling me off already. Oh, we're gonna have more guests later. This is my channel now. Pretty sure gold thermal paste is a tub of really cheap thermal paste. Well, that's probably true. I would definitely believe that. This is going to have to go in the ultrasonic afterwards, just for the heck of it. Lewis, did you get to try ultrasonicing and flushing without using alcohol at the end. Just doing distilled water, because I'm going to do this with my cheap, nasty, non-Crest ultrasonic cleaner. If you're not using Crest, you must be using the best. Okay, this is 3437, so it's not going to matter that it's not original, but yeah, let's see how we go. Wow, we really got nothing. Oh no, there we go. We got a fan spin. Hey, it's got to stop. Okay, let's start up again. Yes. And do one more stop. Let's start again. Come on. Yes. And let's see. Yeah, we got CPU activity, so we're good. So that's fixed up, in spite of all the dramas. Okay. Well, that was painful doing that SMC. I do apologise that you all had to put up with that. It's very hard in the Flat Earth Society to keep spheres as spheres, because they keep wanting to regress back to flat disks. So I think that's what happened to the solder paste, is it really wanted to return to its natural form, which everyone knows is a flat disk with a icy boundary. And yeah, unfortunately, you know, when that happens, it makes it very hard to do these SMC ball jobs. So yeah. Fan spin. Yep, fan spin. Right. Okay, so now I actually have another one of these to do, but I've also got a 3115 I need to do. Okay, so this one can go back to the person who's desperately waiting for it. What's this? Right. This on here says mine, and it says works. But the truth is it doesn't work, because I took the SMC off it to test it on something else, and then I blew it up. And because I blew it up, I now have to replace it, so that I have my own 3437 for myself. Oh, brilliant. I wonder how many parts I knocked off then. You see that, Lewis? See how it just changed scenes on its own? Aren't you jealous? Be jealous of me, Lewis. Be jealous. See, it's like, look at that. Back to it. You wish your setup was as good as this. Oh, look, back to the microscope. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Almost makes up for the fact that I'm an Australian, right? That's how you're going to justify it. Okay, we're using Gootwick here, because I don't have any of the tech spray stuff. So if Chris Long is watching, he will cry a little, because he is the tech spray boss. There we go. That's good. This one here, I've got to throw in the bin. I wonder if this one's showing signs of... I can't see any bobbling on this one. I think what happened with this one is that I was a dum-dum, and I tried scratching in a date code up the top, and I have a feeling that these chips do not like having scratches done on the top, and I figure I must have damaged something. Anyway. Oh well, I won't do that again. That's that much I know. Was it earthquake warning in Hawaii? Seriously? Okay, that's nice. Niels yeah, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Yes, Niels, that's me. So here we go again. Deja vu. This one could be in trouble because see how that's burnt off. So it might mean that someone's been here before me. Someone's being facetious. Facetious is good. And yeah, I'm not a huge flux user, probably because I don't make any money out of using excess flux or encouraging people to use excess flux. I only make money out of encouraging people to use my board view software. So if you are a technician and you do more than one MacBook a day, or maybe even one a week, then I recommend you buy my software, buy my software, buy my software. And if you're looking for board views for MacBooks, don't ask me. I don't have any. Unlike ZXW, Foam Board or EasyDraw, I legally cannot supply anything like that. Because if I do, because of the Australian United States Free Trade Agreement, legally, I can end up in very big trouble. But amusingly, even though I ask plenty of people to, give people an opportunity, go, look, here's a chance, you want to offer a bundle of schematics and stuff like that, and I'll link to you, and you can make money, you keep it all for yourself, and I'll link. No one really takes it up. No one goes for it. Let's see. Polyothics. What language did you write your software in? Curious from a programmer's perspective. Let's see. Well, it's predominantly C++, just generic. I don't know what standard it is. Don't ask me what standard it is. It's like 11 or 14 or something. And I also grossly contaminated it with ANSI C because I am traditionally an ANSI C programmer. It's where I feel most comfortable. Fancy things like objects and vectors and strings are not my normal sort of thing. So yeah, predominantly C++. There's a smattering of C in there. Most of the C now is constrained to certain modules that are used in a few other projects, and so it's easy for me to just do them in C. Come on, get off. There we go. Yeah, for those of you who don't do a lot of MacBook repairs or any, it's not just for MacBooks, by the way, it's for all laptops that have foam board views. There is Open Board View, of course, which is also maintained by myself and Pianov and a couple of others, mostly myself and Pianov. And by maintain it, I mean we look at the issues that come up on it and we sort of go, can't be bothered. No, it's not true. We're both just a little busy with other things. Yeah, that was a nice clean pool with no excessive flux dregs everywhere. I'm just using the flux, interestingly enough, to get that silicon off. I find it tends to, the flux sort of makes it let go a little bit. And you do have to get that silicon off. If you don't, your stencil won't sit flat, and then you'll do a bad reball like I did. I don't really find vectors and objects and things like that harder to deal with. I'm just well, to use the word that was used just before, I'm being facetious. I used to... Oh, no wonder I'm dying here. I started object-oriented programming back with Ball and Pascal, would have been 91 or 2. So I'm more than fine with it, but I do find my affinity is a lot more with just plain C. I've written a book on plain C, on just all the horrors that it can bring out. So if you... let me write it down here. It's an incomplete book, been incomplete for about 20 years now. The Sea of Peril. Yeah, it's free, it's on my website. It just lists all the nasty functions and all that. But like all good open source stuff, it's incomplete and a bit dodgy. I lack the confidence on this one. I fear I'm going to let Julia Childs down. GitHub, I don't know if I have put it on GitHub. It's definitely on my website. So if you Google Sea of Peril Paul Daniels, it should give you the link. Let's see if I can find it. Dun, dun, dun. Just got to switch things around a bit. So Control T. No. Oh, this will have to do. I think it's under open source, maybe. These are all just some of the projects I've done. You're right, it's not there. Okay. PaulDaniels.com. Sea of Peril. There we go. Copy. As I said, I got questions about how I'm streaming in such high quality. I have 40 megabits per second upload, 100 down. I'm doing this on a i5 8400 machine, but I don't have any GPU, and these are all, it's all USB cameras, which kind of lets things down a bit. Probably the best internet in Australia, probably. I only wish I was joking too. But unfortunately, so far as internet goes, Australia is atrocious. We sold our future so that Murdoch Rupert Murdoch would not complain. And so instead of getting fibre to the premises in all new places and stuff like that, we just get junk now. Absolute junk. We should have it, but we sold ourselves. Because we didn't like the idea of having to pay more money on something like... Okay, that might do. No, this one has... Yeah, here we go. This one has actually slightly popcorned. It's right there. See that? That's no good. It probably does work, but I'm not going to put that back into the machine. Especially because it'll be mine. So, it's no good. So we'll have to ditch that. That goes straight into the bin. And they'll have to wait till my next supply of SMCs arrive. It's okay. I gotta change gloves. David, it's more a case of I've seen it before, and so I knew what I was looking for. It's just small parts of the board that come out as a more of a shiny gold color. You can see the traces, they come out more shiny gold, and usually that's where it started to delaminate. Start over? Yeah, well, I've got a 3115 I need to do, so I guess we'll do that. I didn't think I had any 3115s, but I was lucky and found one. My hands are too sticky and clammy. Can't get my gloves back on. I mean, look at that. Ilamonte, well, I'm sorry that Lewis isn't here for you. I'm just gonna go wash my hands. Yeah, baby powder would be good. I don't have any. Maybe I'll just do this one until my hands dry off. Because at least I don't have to do any flux on this one. Hunts, the donor boards just come from places like AliExpress. 5 seconds of Googling or searching on AliExpress and you'll have all the donors you need. I'm so sick of these boards drifting when I try to... It's like I gotta pin the little SOBs down. with that popcorning of the SMCs, I'm pretty sure it's something I'm doing, I'm just not sure what yet. Too much heat, too much something. And maybe they will work, but I just don't trust them. Maybe Lewis can lend his great experience with SMCs to let me know. Also, if you're not completely bored and you can tolerate the Australian accent, then you can always jump over to my own YouTube channel, since I am hijacking Lewis's. Though unlike Lewis, I do not have 820,000 raving fans that don't spin. Instead, I'm a little more moderate. I tend not to swear as much either. And perhaps best of all, I'm not from New York. Instead, I'm just a wholesome Australian who loves his animals, fixes boards, and takes a beating quietly from Lewis Rossman whenever he can't work out how to use the software properly. Because that's what New York people do. I might put a bit of flux on this actually. Sorry, messed that up. The flux should hopefully distribute the heat underneath a bit better. Oh, I don't know if being a New York person really is that unwholesome, but hey, if we're just in the process of bagging people out, since I don't normally get to have my say on the channel when Lewis is beating the hell out of my software, then it's a perfect opportunity right now for me to drop in some retaliatory love. Most of these pads are oxidized, so it's not going to be much fun. Just gotta get... finally got the gloves on. Just a bit of a tight fit. Master of Chief, if you don't know who the hell Paul Daniels is, then what can I say? Sit down, time to learn. Let everybody else indoctrinate you with their versions of who they think I am. Listen to the soothing Australian drawl combined with the marvellous sounds of the fume hood trying desperately to save me from dying. Get that flux out of there. Well, this is a deep fake. Oh no, someone's onto me. Somebody already knows that I'm just a construct. Time for this Agent Smith to tail it out of here. God, that flux just... It's the trouble with flux, it really does stick around a lot. Yeah, Master of Chief, right, yes. I'm kind of wondering about your, when you say the simple software, I'm kind of wondering what your implication is there. Now, I mean, yes, the software is technically fairly straightforward, single function, to the point, on purpose. Because there's also FlexPV. And FlexPV is considerably more complex. Right, where did I put that iPhone that I tortured? Oh, here we go. Let's do some more torturing on this iPhone. Don't you curl up like that, like a... It does look rather unappealing. I see a challenger has arrived. Yes, the multimeter software was done in C. Oh wait, no, there's some parts of C++ in there. Yep, because some of the APIs required string to be passed to them. So technically it's a C++ program, but it's written mostly with C. Hey, Alex Lohoff, well, don't even ask me to ask them. Give this another hit. Because remember, this is going to go rather stiff on us once it cools down. Okay. This is how you keep the SMC crack addicts happy. I know what I'm doing. It's not even aligned right. Now there might be some iron in the templates, I'm not sure. But extra, oh, for God's sake, come on. I think I need shorter tweezers on this because I keep hitting my microscope with it. Let's go with that. Thank you, Sonia, for watching over things. I appreciate that. And to anyone who's out there trying to talk to me and I keep missing it or something, I do apologize. Unfortunately, my brain is not constructed in the same marvellous way in which Lewis Rossman's brain is constructed. I mean, that chap is an exemplary example, that kind of sounded funny, of a brain that is wired and capable of doing some amazing things with concurrently talking to people, reciting incredible batches of numbers, working on a board, and reading chat. I don't know how he does it. He's certainly a master. Oh yeah, you want to jump out? You try that, little ball? You try jumping out? Yeah? Oh dear. The stencil has bent slightly. Okay, your balls just retract back in. Thank you. So I can finish off your little sort of neighbours. Okay, a few of those balls have not gone onto their pads. Hey, Ricktech. Yeah, if only we could blame it on the metal plate, oily metal plate event, but there's no denying he was already brilliant before that. And I think maybe the metal plate event just pushed him up to that extra level. Tim Herman's another one of those people that can just recite the heck out of anything. Like if I have a problem with a board, like a particular model or something, and I don't know which is which, I message Tim. I harass poor Tim so much because I can never remember this stuff. Okay, we're going to lose probably one ball up here. We'll see how we go. The reason why we're going to lose it is because I was a lazy git and didn't clean my pads properly. And now that laziness has come home to roost. I've definitely lost one, blah 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 blah. Lost one down the bottom left. Bottom left? Bottom right. So I can't really afford to scrub this until I have put that missing ball in place and reflowed everything. Okay, so we need to get this ball here out. There we go. And I should probably scratch back that pad slightly. Who needs memory when you have Google? Well, yeah, that's pretty much how I live my life now. It's like I appreciate and marvel the people who have these amazing recalls. And yeah, that's about it. I appreciate and marvel them. Because I know I certainly don't have that capacity myself. And I don't really feel bad about it, probably because I wake up every morning and forget that I don't have that capacity myself. Jump onto that pad, you little... Okay. Is it like 2 AM in Australia? No, it's actually only 10 PM here. 10 PM on the eastern side, which means it's even earlier than that on the other countryside of our country, which is Western Australia. Now, Western Australia really needs to get their act together and come up with a name for their own country instead of just hanging on to Australia. So they've been with us for a couple 100 years and they still haven't sorted themselves out. Okay, we got some pretty damn uneven balls around there, so that's not a good thing. So this one here and that one there. We can be stupid and try and reduce that size, but you can see these are pretty all good, but there's a whole cluster here that's wrong. So that's all going to have to come off. Oh well. It was nice knowing you, balls. Probably something that a lot of my cats say when they get back home from the vet. We'll just have to do that again. I could have left it there and I could have taken my chances because the SMCs are fairly, so far as balls go, they're quite tolerant. But given that this is the only 3115 I have on hand, I would prefer that I get it right as much as I can. I've got more 315s coming, but none here tonight. Perfectionist much? Well, a little, but like I said, I do have a fairly tolerant range of different ball sizes, but that was just pushing it too far. That I knew was going to result in trouble. I've got all this junk on there now. Hey, Let's Play Daily, yes you did indeed catch a live stream, though unfortunately for you it's not such a great thing because this isn't a Lewis Rossman live stream. This in fact is a fake flat earther live stream. But to make you all feel cozy and everything, I am still performing the normal sort of things that Lewis would do, which includes getting aggravated at SMCs, complaining about how the SMC stencil isn't flat, yeah, stuff like that. Stuff that he would be doing right now if he was in the workshop. Keep contaminating the stencil. Alright, let's go make some paste. Actually, how's this stuff looking? It's just I took it a bit too far, so I create a lot of distortion when I'm trying to push that into the holes of the stencil. Okay, can someone kill the Linux Master 91? Giving a bad name to Linux. Linux, take your pick. Oh, I just realised that's 420. Whoops. Thank you, Nightbot. Who did that? It's only audio? I don't recognise it's only audio. Okay, this is a little wetter than I like. But since we've got the most... Since we've got most of the heat down on it, maybe it'll be okay. I'm suspecting not though. Alright, can anyone see the problem here? See how when I push down, things come back up? That means the stencil is legitimately bent. And because the paste isn't super dry, there's going to be a degree of wicking between them now. Well, see how we go. Maybe if I... Yeah. No. God damn. Seriously? let it be known to all of you that if you should ever get the pleasure of live streaming, be sure you haven't changed your formula before you do it. Because it just makes you look like a complete moron. Where did I put my toothbrush? I just realised I actually have new stencils. Why don't I just do that? Come on, stencil, where are you? 'Cause I know Lewis sent me about 3 of them. There we go. So yeah, it is a bit of a touchy-feely thing, because you're dealing, yeah, with so many variables. The stencil feels bent out of the bag. Oh no, it's okay. I think I'm now at the point where paranoia is starting to rule my life. Hey Luke, yes, bit of one hell of a coincidence. Fancy seeing you around. Hope you've been well. Certainly a lot of things have changed in the years. See you, junk pile. Thanks for sticking around. Gonna mix in some slightly drier stuff, and hopefully we can get a combination that doesn't completely suck. See, the sad thing is SMCs usually take me about maybe 10 minutes to do, so you know, I'm not brilliantly fast at them, but at the same time it's not usually a complete and utter festival of disappointment like this one. So you moved to Alice Springs and then Tom Price still in charge? Yes, I'm still sadly here. A few of my almost swore. A few of my projects didn't quite pan out quite as lucratively as I had hoped. I also didn't help in that I botched up a few of the opportunities that were handed to me. But hey, you know, that's just the thing to do in life. But I am where I am, and yeah, the last few years it's been an interesting game of doing all this MacBook stuff. or repairs in general. Quite a bit different to what I was doing over there. No more fancy life. I'm down in the gutter with everyone else now. Jeez, did I just punch the hole out of that? I did too. I might have to put the ball in there later. Oh, come on, Paul, do it right. Am I blood type A? Let's see, I am an A plus actually. But close, that's close. It's fun when you can't work out whether you're in focus or whether your eyeballs are just stuffed up. This paste still isn't quite dry enough. So help me God, if that little ball in the middle drifts over and attaches into someone, I'm going to get upset. Stay in the middle, buddy. There we go. Whew. This tempo, how do we make... I don't have a excess MacBook problem, in fact. Up here, I don't get a lot at all, because there's only about 8,000 people in the town. So, in terms of local jobs, pretty much it's more like 3 or 4 a year. So I rely more on mail-in jobs. I could always do with more MacBook jobs. Geez, who are these shitheads? Get rid of Ben Vine YouTube. Where do these people come from? Yeah, Richard Denton, I might try that tomorrow. Did you mention that earlier, didn't you? I'll give it a whirl tomorrow. Hey Teresa. I'm all back to front here at the moment. I'll let that sit too long. Yeah, that looks better. And the balls generally do look quite even there. Tyrone, what do you mean by what do I gain from it? I mean, effectively it's a job. Hey, thanks PVT, Donut. Zero Effect, good to see you. What's the biggest expense I have at the moment? Yeah, that's actually a good question. I can't quite think. I think the biggest expense really is the lack of consistency in the jobs. Like I can go, well, this week's been pretty good. But then there are other weeks where it just dies right off. I mean, as does happen in normal life. But it can be... That's the real expense. The inconsistency. Okay. 2 bridges on the left? No, they're not bridges. That's just a bit of flux residue. Yeah. But thanks for noticing anyway. I can go there. Alright. Alright, now if I was truly game, I could try and replace that straight there, but I'm not. So I am going to take the board out to do the SMC replacement. I'm going to close my shop and move the workshop back home. Yeah, I think a lot of people are moving into that sort of thing now. Particularly with the internet, the compelling reasons to have a storefront are starting to sort of fall away quite severely. So what you end up with a storefront is more rent and stuff like that. Because it depends on your situation. There are some residential codes that will stop you from doing that, of course. Blast Vesperia, yeah, that's correct. I have not really touched anything like that in, well, it's got to be getting on 20 years now. Thanks, Hi. Hope your study is going okay. What are your thoughts on the atomic pie? Which one is the atomic pie? I know the normal pie. And I know the mini the pie that has nothing else but just the chip in it. Oh, I forget. I've got a couple of Raspberry Pis myself, but I don't use them for much. I was meant to use them as little streaming units, but I never quite got around to finishing that up. Too many things to do. Get that out. Need a normal screwdriver. No. Can tell me what Live iMobile device. Coming for you, Live iMobile device is, as far as I know, it's a Linux library that allows you to talk to Apple iDevices. So you can do various... No, I don't need that on. You can do various things with the iPhones. Like I use it in combination... Get out of here. iDevice Backup 2, that's the one to use. That'll let you back up your iPhone without using iTunes. Alright. It's a new mad thing with Intel Atom. Oh, they're actually using the Intel Atoms. They're still producing the Intel Atom. I thought they sort of stopped that and just merged it in as the... what do you call it? The Celeron chip now. I wasn't aware of that. Hey Brad Pitt, how's it going down in Tassie? I do wish I was living down there, to be honest, most of the year. It's certainly far more respectable weather than what we're dealing with up here. I mean, we're still in the mid to high 20s every day. And at night time it's only getting down to 16. So I still feel perpetually hot. Hey, sound effects. Good to see you around. Okay. And just to expand on what sound effects just said, there are certain situations where I can help out. Most of the time, though, do expect to cough up a normal price for the job. Like I said, there are just sometimes there's exceptions that I can deal with, but not always. Here's the other thing. If you're thinking of emailing me and saying, can you do this for pretty much nothing, then I'm sorry to say that given that I do have a bunch of cats to feed, a business to run, all that sort of stuff, I am pretty much going to ignore your email. It's not out of being not polite, though I suppose it is a little bit, but rather it's just I've got to prioritize things. I can only imagine what Lewis's email looks like. Oh, if you're wondering what the problem with this board is that it doesn't detect the battery. And fairly sure it's a classic case of someone tried to replace the battery, used a metal implement to disconnect the battery, and things went bad from there. There's a lot of junk under there I can't get to. Oh well. Is that hot glue? No, it's some kind of silicon. It's rather annoying stuff. Okay, speaking of annoying, it is satisfying, I will definitely say that, yes. Saw something about wildlife there, I've got to go back. My sausage dog lost the use of his back legs. Have you experienced the situation? Zero, I'm really not sure. I'm thinking you may actually... Have you checked for paralysis tick? Because that is a pretty common effect I've seen with paralysis tick. So I do hope you have a vet round place. If you can get them checked out, it can be reversed, I believe. Oh, sweet mercy. Did you see that? Look at that. I knocked off, what is that? A good dozen parts there. Alright, we're going to have a busy night now. That's because I didn't clear out the underfill properly. And what happened is I started to struggle and push. And when I did that, I knocked all these things off. Look at them all. Well, that was dumb. That's okay, it's not the end of the world. We'll just clear it up and just start adding them bit by bit. I think in the past I certainly would have panicked like heck over that. I probably would have started breathing pretty heavy, Start thinking, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what am I going to do? But after a while you kind of go, oh, that was dumb. Then you just get down to the job and get it done. Have I got another? Where's that 3115? Luke, yeah, I'm not flying anymore at all. I wish I was, but I'm just not. I've got no time, and I certainly don't have the money for it anymore. I miss doing the flying, I'll definitely tell you that. Particularly the discus launch, definitely miss that. Alright, here we go. Zoom out. Start this process. Such a schlep. Oh well. Flux seems to be rare. No, it just costs money. Not all of us live on a flux mine like Lewis. Not that money is the issue with the flux, really. It's just a case of I just don't feel compelled to use that much of it. I'll say at least this is a MacBook and not an iPhone. I've had the situation where you have people doing the Touch IC replacement on the 6 Plus, and they forget to remove the overfill on the other side, and so they end up lifting all the parts in the overfill on the other side, and of course pretty much nothing works after that. And try as you might, trying to gently pull that strip off so that you can just solder the parts back down. It almost never works. You ever tried the Chinese flux? Nope. I mean, I've got stuff that I bought many years ago. I've got the rosin blocks. But really, I've got no real compelling reason to use those sort of things. Gonna push my luck there. Whoops. Yep, I was right on the memory chip. Back and forth, back and forth. It's so boring. Nothing else in human life is like this, going back and forth. Almost lost that. Certainly one of the skills that you learn to have early on when doing this sort of work is the ability to hold the little part in the tweezers while you move everything else around you without dropping it, or more often what happens is it gets spat out because you're holding it too tight. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth ball on that one. Just going to make sure I haven't jumped anything. Yeah, sorry I'm not reading the chat much. This is kind of taking up a little bit of my attention. We're almost there. All the resistors and the capacitors went bye-bye because I was a little bit exuberant with trying to twist off the SMC when it was stuck. That was our last one, I think. Yep. Don't you dare tombstone on me, you... Okay. Alrighty. Well, that was certainly some drama. This is what I get for doing a second Lewis stream. He only asked me to do one, but then I don't think he found anyone else that was dumb enough to do one as well. So he asked me to do a second one, and I was like, alright, okay, fine, I've got an SMC to do. Should only take me 10 minutes. Yeah. The old 10-minute fallacy. It is actually amazingly hard to see those balls. The pads, rather. It is really hard to see those pads. Alright. Let's see what we got now. We want a 3115. There we go. And we got pad 1 down here. Alright. Hey, Skull Saros. So much love. If I fix this MacBook, will I be allowed back in Britain? I hope not. Who says we even want to come back to Britain? You guys kicked us out. Look at it. Yep, quite right. With that, let's see who said that. Vogon. Ah, yes. Definitely a way to jinx your own jobs. To state with some level of authority as to how long it's going to take or how hard it's going to be. I hate it how these... Don't do that. Come on. There we go. Okay, Sonia, I'll scroll back. Where's Brad? Brad Pitt, you know, go figure. Brad. I work for 40 schools and most of the students teach use Mac. Do you want me to inquire about getting device repaired with you? Clearly they throw. Brad, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Yes. Brad, do that. Send me a message or email me. plDaniels@gmail or just off my website. Or give Sonia your email and I will be in touch with you. I don't care which way you do it. Just let me know. Because that is exactly the sort of thing that I need to get more of. And I promise I won't do too many botch ups like this one. Oh. You see that? As soon as I said the word botch up, it jumped. I'm going to wait for that to cool down. Brad Pitt. Really, I feel like I'm having a normal Lewis day here. Hello, Nixie. I don't know what's going on here. That's actually stuck, it seems. Crap. Well, I'm committed now. I'm going to have to go through with it. It is surprising how much harder it... Oh, for God's sake, that's it. That's just ruined. I think I just need to go to sleep. I cannot believe that just happened. Now I'm starting to lose my cool. That was very unwanted. Because not only did I risk doing more issues on the board in general, and there's a couple of balls in there by the way, so yeah, I have spotted those. But it does mean I have to now do the SMC all over again. Which means I may risk popcorning it. So I've kind of lost the fun of doing things right now. Alright. Guess all I can do is just fix it. I mean, what else are you going to do? I'm really not sure what happened there. That SMC came flying at me like an angry kangaroo. Interesting. It's like the flux for some reason did not distribute. That's very strange. So here we are, back again at this point of pain. The sad thing is, out of all this, basically I'm doing nothing really with my board view software. It would have been a nice thing to have a board where I could demonstrate how it's useful, but instead I'm just demonstrating how not to do board repairs. Yeah, Teresa, I might have to. I'll just give this one reball. What is the time? We'll give it one attempt at the reball, and then if it doesn't go, I'm just going to have to walk out. I don't like normally finishing like this. I like to persevere, but sometimes the smarter thing is to take a hike. Yep, John Smith, that's right. Yep, no one's around. You're like the Rain Man, as you said. I don't even know what I've done with my stencils. Ah, there we go. Hello, Aaron. Aaron. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Thank you very much. Don't rage. I'll try not rage. I'm just fishing around in my container of alcohol right now, trying to get that good stencil out. Basically, as soon as I've used a stencil, I throw it back into a tub of alcohol, and that helps it get rid of any junk that's built up. Lewis should be laughing pretty heavily on this, because I used to mock him a lot, well I still do mock him a lot, about the whole SMC process. Let's see. I mean, full of love, of course. Okay. No, you're too far gone. I'm going to have to do a new batch. Don't Hulk smash. I'll try not to, Steady Forge. Ryan D, as I've mentioned it before, the stencil Captain tape thing isn't ever a problem with me. I'm more than fine holding it and applying the paste. Thanks, Brad Pitt. Be in touch. Send me an email now if you can, Brad, and I'll get to that as soon as I've finished with this. So, in a week or so. No, I shouldn't mock myself like that. I could regret that. Hey, Leah Clark. You're a fellow Australian, are you? Wow. Come on, Paul. Fellow Queenslander, are you down in Brisbane or are you up further north here with me? Don't do that. I do wonder how many thousand subs Lewis has lost now because of this. Those pads are real juicy. Gotta get that juice out of them. We've got a couple down the bottom here that haven't quite bound onto their pads, so just let them sit for a second and try and hit them again. Sometimes the flux just boils underneath the under the paste, and it's not so much that the pad can't, the ball can't touch the blah blah blah. It's not so much that the ball can't bind to the pad, it's just that the flux is producing a bit of a, perhaps a Leidenfrost effect and stopping it from getting down there. I might hit it with flux and run it again, just to be sure. Richard Denton, if you can find me square hold SMC stencils, then by all means send them over or let me know. Because yes, I do very much prefer square stencils. They're vastly better than round-holded pain in the butt ones. But to the best of my knowledge, I haven't been able to find a square SMC stencil. Square hole, rather. But yeah, if you want to take on that quest, please do. A lot of people will be very appreciative of it, and I lost one ball. Didn't I lose that ball the last time? Trouble is I've got hair on my tweezers, which is stopping me. There we go. Yeah, if this is an hourly rate, this board repair would be costing thousands, but thankfully, well, that's the power of the fixed fee system. Yeah, we're good. Ed2677, yeah, that's why I want to get a desktop CNC milling machine, because what I'll do is I'll take this stuff, this fiber reinforced plastic, and I will cut out recesses designed for the SMC and also for these stencils, so there'll be none of this stuffing around. I'm actually kind of shocked that someone else hasn't done it yet. I mean, I would pay 20-30 bucks easily for being able to just plonk down the SMC, put the stencil on top, squeegee on the paste, and go from there. It would save so much time. But no one's done it yet, so because no one else has done it yet, I'm going to do it. But then I probably won't market it, I'll just keep it for myself and make everybody else wish they had it. Because I'm a little bit unnice like that. Did we lose another ball? We only lost one that I was aware of. Yeah, it's just the one. And I'll put it back. Now, because the trouble with my whole SMC holder thing is that, well, I've got to get the desktop CNC to start with. And that's a $1,500 investment, particularly by the time I've completely mucked around with it and botched it up a few hundred times, trying to make it right. Do you do board repair? Yeah, I am. You lost another one. Oh, dear God, I hope you're right, because I can't see any others. No, that all looks good to me. I cannot see any distinct missing ones there. But you did make me move my SMC. You can go to a machining shop, pay $100 a square, hold stencil jig. So yeah, you're right. I could go to the machining shop, get them to do it, but then that would be a once-off, and I want to do it myself, over and over. I'm fairly sure that's famous last words, eh? I'm fairly sure that's right. Well, that was the slowest drift in on the SMC I've seen in ages. See how that moved about 3 or 4 times before it actually settled in. ND Nihil, my God. What are you doing here, ND Nihil? Nice to see you, by the way. How's things going on that side of the world? ND Nihils knows all about my terrible past. Well, those balls look good. Chilling Bean, I do this for a living. This is part of my living. I'm going to touch up the ends of those, I think. Or should I? Or should I not? Leave him alone, Paul. Test that it works before you do anything. Oh. Okay. Someone knows who I am. Oh dear. ND, I know. I haven't turned on IRC for a while now. Not since sort of being on this Discord. Normally it's not so much drama doing these SMCs. I think it's just luck of the draw. Well, Luke, if I use it doesn't have to be perfectly... It doesn't have to have perfect edges. It can be rounded in the corners. As long as the sides are being held, that's all that matters. I have to use desktop CNC though because I need depth control. Because I need to be able to have the SMC itself sit down, and then the stencil that I use, that will be the next cutout layer, and so that will sit down on top of the SMC. It doesn't have to be the perfect depth for the SMC, but so long as they're both trapped within the square socket, then it'll be fine. Alrighty. Hopefully I haven't ruined this whole board. Otherwise I'll have to get another one. And I really don't want that. Because it is a 3115 and I mostly only have 2936s. I can never remember which way this one is meant to go. Okay, we've got fan spin. Let's see if we get CPU activity. Okay, and we've got CPU activity, so we are alive. Thank goodness. That was quite the long way around. I am going to put this into the chassis though, because I need to check that the battery detection is actually fixed. I am just going to course fit this. The other reason I'd want a desktop CNC is because there are so many other little jigs and whatnot that I want to make. So it's just one of those things that you just want. I'd love a jig that lets me drop these boards in straight up. Just no stuffing around trying to find if you've got 50 fingers. Alright, yeah. I think we managed to find 50 fingers that time. I don't know why I'm caring about that particular point there. Nocturne 13, Lewis is down in the basement, trapped with chlorodite. They haven't been paying me enough, so I've trapped them. And I'll just simply take over everything that they've done. It's pretty simple. Alright. Thank you, auto switcher. You make my life so easy. The reason why I did the auto switcher is because so many times I would be recording only to realize then that I was actually recording the wrong thing. So by making the auto switcher, now I'm always, hopefully, recording the right thing. Okay, battery is in. Just going to turn off the microscope light. I need my ASD utilities and my cable. What the hell have I done with my cable? Ah, here we go. This here is just a boot SSD I need. And it'll let me boot up into the appropriate Apple system diagnostics, I hope. I'm going to find where's the flipping option button. Pain of getting a bit older is you find it very hard to see at close distances. We have a bong. Okay, here comes our ASD. We want 155. And we wait. Now what we're mostly looking for here is that the battery does not have a cross through it, because if it's got a cross through it, then all this has been for naught, and my problem lies elsewhere. I've tried 3 different batteries. They all do it. We've got a cross through our battery. Now I'm cross. You gotta be kidding me. Replace that SMC for nothing? SMC for nothing? Not good. Damn, something else must have blown. Alright. Just typical. Okay. I bet you this schematic doesn't even have what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, it does. $52.80, where are you hiding out? You're up there. 5281, is that you next to? Yep, you're all 2K. Okay, let's get our ohms mode on. Make sure we've got nothing connected. We're good. Okay, so 2K it is. Ah, remember then I had high hopes. No, that's 2K as well, so that's good. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think. I think it's U7000 because I did that before. This one of the vias have gone AWOL. I might have to leave this one till tomorrow because I'm getting tired now. Oh wait, what's that resistor there? Look at that. Is that a burn mark or is that just bad luck or something? But it kind of looks like a burn mark to me. R7005. Should be at 20 ohm. Alright. Let's see if we do in fact have a 20 ohm there, or whether it's gone a little high. No, sadly it is 20 ohms. That's disappointing. And come to think of it, that there's... oh well. Yeah, you're the current sense. Which one are you? You should be the 2.2 ohms all around. Round trip 2.2. That doesn't seem right. Do I have the right one? 7051, that should be 2.2. And you are 20 ohms. So that little bubble there, oops. That little bubble there is a sign that it got a little cooked. So that maybe is why we've got problems. Now I've got to find it again. I'm going to use a soldering iron to get this one off because it is still in the chassis. That's going to suck if I did all that, but all because I didn't bother to check this first. By the way, for those wondering, this is being streamed on a Linux machine. This is Ubuntu. There are some limitations compared to the Windows version, but mostly it's in the extra filters and things like that. I hope I read the right one there. 7051. Yeah, it's definitely 2.2 ohms. We can actually confirm it because we can just read it off there too. So that's a nice 2.5, which is entirely normal. Now I know 2.5 seems like it's percentage-wise quite a bit bigger than 2.2, but there's about a 0.3 ohm resistance in the leads and the tips and things like that. Now normally you used to be able to zero that out, but for some reason I've noticed on a lot of meters, digital meters, you can't seem to zero it out. Right, now let's hope Paul doesn't botch up this thing because he's put hot air in it. Okay. Well, I guess we'll try that now. Checking the note next to it. I just realised that I should do that. I'd be surprised if that one was dead, because that is actually a 0 ohm resistor. But you never know. Well, fortunately that's 0. But good point though, good catch. That could easily have been something I missed, and that could have caused me a whole lot of drama. So I appreciate that. Here we go again. I always grabbed the wrong lead. Okay, now ASDN. Lewis is going to be laughing his guts out when he watches this later. He's going to be like, "You absolute idiot, Paul. Why didn't you check that first? Why didn't you check the current sense first?" Hey Microtech Sat, thank you very much for that. I'm trying hard to produce software that works for everybody. I mean, after all, I use it myself, so it's in my best interest for people not to see my bald spot. But yeah, I try hard to keep it relevant. A lot of the features that get added is simply because when I'm using it, I'll kind of go, I wish I had this, and yeah, it goes from there. Linux can be a problem due to drivers. Overall, it's actually very good these days, but yeah, certainly for exotic devices, it can be an absolute pain. We still have a crossed out battery here. So, damn, we're really having a rough time with this. I wonder if the battery itself also got killed. That's possible. It's certainly not holding any power, so it is possible this battery got killed, so I'll try a different one. Audio sync on. Alright. I'll try a battery, and if it's no good, we'll reconvene another decade. Alright, I know the audio is out of sync. Still can't find the battery, so I'm just going to leave it tonight. It's almost midnight, 11:30, and the audio is out of sync, as you're saying, so we're going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for sitting around. I'm sorry it couldn't get a better outcome, but appreciate it. I probably won't be doing any more streams on for Lewis, so you'll probably get a new participant in the next day or so. But if you want to come over to my channel and see what I do, by all means you're welcome. Just search Paul Daniels on YouTube, and I'm the guy that's alive and with hair, not the dead magician. Until then, you'll take care. I'll see you later.